Hello, shining stars. Welcome to another fun and exciting class with Miss Anna. In our previous class, we talked about the sun, the stars, and we said the stars are big balls of very hot gas that give off light and heat. In today's class, we'll be talking about the moon. Now, children, when it's dark at night, when the sun doesn't give us light, what do we see? We see the moon. Now, the moon is a large object made of rocks that moves around Earth. Now, the solar system consists of 8 planets. The solar system consists of 8 planets, which include Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. Now, I know you'll be wondering, I didn't make mention of the moon. Yes. Do you know why? Because the moon is not a planet. So that is why we did not include the moon in the planets. Do you know why the moon is not a planet? The moon is not a planet because the moon orbits Earth. Wow! Now, to orbit means to move around something in a circular pattern. Just like you can see here, the moon is going around Earth. That means the moon is orbiting the Earth. Now, it takes the moon approximately 28 days to orbit the Earth. And it takes the Earth 365 days to orbit the sun. The moon doesn't make its own light. The moon reflects the light it gets from the sun. Now, let's look at the phases of the moon.
For today is phases of moon. The moon revolves around the Earth in a fixed orbit. The moon does not have its own light. Sun gives light to the moon. When the moon is between the Earth and the sun, we cannot see the moon at all. This is because the side of the moon facing the Earth does not get sunlight. This is called the new moon. After 2 to 3 days, we can see some part of the moon. This phase is called the waxing crescent. As the moon is gaining light, that is, expanding in illumination, we use the term waxing. About a week after the new moon, we can see half of the moon. This phase is called first quarter. 2 or 3 days after the first quarter, more than half of the moon is visible. This phase is called the waxing gibbous. About 2 weeks after the new moon, we can see the full moon. This is because the full side of the moon facing the Earth gets sunlight. Now, the moon begins its return journey from the full moon to the new moon. The next phase is called the waning gibbous. As the moon is now losing light, that is, decreasing in illumination, we use the term waning. The next phase is the last quarter, followed by the waning crescent. When the moon comes back between the Earth and the Sun, it enters the new moon phase again.
Each time the moon changes shape, we say it is in a different phase. Now you've seen it that the moon has different phase. It changes from time to time. Now, sometimes the moon moves between Earth and the Sun. Then we can see the Sun for a short time. It is called an eclipse. Now, an eclipse is when the moon moves between Earth and the Sun and blocks our view of the Sun. A long time ago, people thought an eclipse meant something was eating the Sun. Wow, funny, right? But today, we know it is just the moon blocking the Sun and making a shadow on Earth. Now you see, an eclipse doesn't mean something is eating up the Sun. Now, I believe we have learned a lot about the moon today, and our class was super exciting. See you all in our next class. To have a lovely day. Bye.